This is Neil Schneider for MTBS-TV at the Level Up Gaming Showcase. To my immediate right is Kaneshka and Tassos from the University of Ontario Institute of Technology's Game Development and Entrepreneurship Program. You see, I got it right. Yep. You know, it's a bit of a challenge. It comes with practice, but I did get the whole title right. Oh, yeah. Thank you both. Thank you both for joining us.
No problem, yeah.
So why don't you tell us about your game, Kaneshka?
Our game is called Etesian. It's a jet fighter game, and it involves using the Oculus Rift. Now, what we wanted to accomplish with this is that we wanted a new immersive experience where players use the Oculus Rift alongside a joystick to feel as if they are one within the game. They play as the pilot of a jet, and they commandeer it, and they fight against other jet fighters who want to take you down. Basically, it's like a survival.
Excellent, excellent. So Tassos, what can you tell us about the challenges of creating a game like this?
Mostly it's accommodating the Oculus Rift's need for having two cameras rendering at once. There's two versions of the game. The single camera version runs fine. It's just straightforward as you would a normal game. But the Oculus version, you need another camera, you need another viewport, and then that is all fine and dandy, but you need to adjust the cameras. Sometimes the cameras may not have all the features you need. You can't do custom projection matrix. I'm probably getting too technical, but getting the HUD to render with the distortion, that was also a challenge. So it's more or less the tools of the job and how you've set up your rendering framework.
Excellent, excellent. So what would be the next steps for a game like this? I mean, what would you like to ultimately achieve from this?
With a game like this, because the Oculus Rift technology is so new, we wanted to bring forth a game which takes in the Oculus Rift and that it presents itself in a way that anything can be done with Oculus Rift to create a new immersive experience, and that's what we aimed for. We wanted to open the doors for companies to bring forth games that include the Oculus Rift. With such simple technology, we could incorporate it and create newer experiences for our players.
Wonderful, wonderful. Tasso, you know, there's all kinds of solutions coming out on the market. Technical Illusions, Varelia, Avigant. I mean, even Epson has work in this area too. Do you see yourself supporting just one solution, or do you see yourself diversifying support for multiple solutions in the market?
Well, it really depends on how the solutions work. Oculus is more or less straightforward. You're just rendering twice, whereas all the other VR hardware, like Sony's, what's it called? Morpheus, yeah. I'm not familiar with it, but if it follows a similar two-camera render technique, then a transition between Oculus and Morpheus or some other similar VR shouldn't be too bad. But with proper programming, it's just really what setting am I on for what device. It should be relatively straightforward, but I could see a problem originating from this in that, much like printers, how there's no real one printer driver, we may have no real one VR driver, and it'll be just a mess trying to deal with everything. So that might be a challenge in the future.
So would you like to see this standardized, where you program once and it works on multiple solutions?
That would be great. I wouldn't be surprised if that is put onto the engine. Like Unity will probably support every single VR platform, Unreal, all those engines, but that's not really a standardized solution. That is a hard-coded program solution with that specific engine.
What are your thoughts on this?
I feel that with the Oculus, because the Oculus has its own set of technologies, I feel that when they generalize their technology and make it wider and available with the different technologies available through Sony and whatnot, that when we bring forth such a game, that it'd be easy to switch through technologies and have that implementation ready so that you could just plug in a device and play with it.
Excellent. So what do you know, obviously a lot of people have seen your stuff so far. What sense are you getting from users and gamers? Are they excited about this stuff?
It's when they see the Oculus, they're like, wow, it's the Oculus, right? It's that new technology, and that's exactly what we wanted to bring forth. That new technology that everyone's excited about. And that's what wants them to come and play our game. And once they play our game, they're like, wow, I love it.
Tasso?
We're getting a good response, good feedback, and we hope to just implement that into our game, just improve the features when we present it again at UIT's GameCon. Yeah. Hopefully next time we come around in a VR game, we'll be able to use a more professional AAA engine rather than something that we had to put together ourselves.
This wasn't coded in Unity, was it?
It's not Unity. It uses an open source engine along with a whole bunch of other stuff, because it's cool that we have 5 libraries inside one game. The engine itself, the Oculus Rift library, a realistic flight dynamics library, so the jets don't fly on bullet physics or havoc physics. It's actually a library which responds to pilot input and will accurately reflect in the game. Like in bullet, if you were to pull up on a stick, you'll just keep going up depending on how you've configured it. But in this thing, with the realistic dynamics, if you pull up on a stick, it'll jerk up a bit, but then it starts to slow down, more like a real aircraft. And then there's some video playback and some networking libraries.
So what can you tell us about how you developed this game? How long did it take you to put this game together? What did you go through to make it work?
This game took 4 months to work. Wow. This game took 4 months to develop with lots of hard work. Originally, we had just the basic game going. We can fly a jet around. Then we wanted, okay, how can we make this more realistic? Flight dynamics. So we searched around for some solutions, and we found this great library from this company in Germany who licensed it to us for free for a year. Very generous of them. So after we have our realistic physics, we went on to networking, because that's a requirement for our university program. And then we also implemented other features, which is why we got the video library in there. And then along all the way, we used that graphics engine to create the views necessary and the shader effects all necessary to render a perfect Oculus view. So that's kind of like the pipeline of what happened.
Excellent. And you mentioned you're using an open source game engine. Can you name it?
It's kind of hard to spell. Urho 3D, URHO 3D. I would consider it. There are a bunch of open source engines like Airlicht, Ogre are just 2 popular ones. This one's not very well known. It's in its infancy. It has a lot of features. It still has a long way to go, but I believe that in a couple of years, 2 or 3 years, has a very passionate, dedicated development team. In a few more years, it might be the leading open source engine technology. Because everyone, when you think open source graphics, it's usually Ogre or doing it yourself. Had we done this with our own graphics, I've done it before, but we wouldn't have been able to push out as much content by ourselves without this engine at our disposal.
Excellent. Why, if I can ask, why didn't you go with like Unity or another game engine? Why did you choose this path?
We wanted to go with something that really brought forth what we wanted to accomplish. With Unity, you have it set within there where you just click and drag and you add on, but with Urho 3D, we wanted it so that we can implement other libraries together and that we could have original code in there and not something that we could drag and drop. So it's something that we bring forth with our skills, Tassos being the lead programmer, that we wanted to implement code that we worked on rather than drag and drop and use the other generalized engines out there.
Good stuff. Did you want to add something?
Yeah, it's also open source, which is always a good way to go.
Free.
Yeah, free.
Very good. Well, thank you both for joining us.
Thanks, Neil.
This is Neil Schneider for MTBS-TV at the Level Up Gaming Showcase. Thank you again for watching.